Chappie is alive. That's a Short Circuit reference for any of you who know that movie. You know what? I assume if you watch something like Family Guy or something like that, you know Johnny Five. No, this is about Johnny Five. Watch the Nostalgia Critic. Watch something. Short Circuit. Yeah, I saw Chappie, by the way. Short Circuit is a very 80s movie, and god damn it, do I love Short Circuit. I am sorry, I love Short Circuit to death. That is one of my... that is an 80s classic to me. This was if you gave Johnny Five a gun. It's a more matured version of that. Yeah, Chappie. So Neil Blomkamp has done three major movies that I know of. He's done Jurisdiction I, which I heard everyone loves, Elysium, which a lot of people were mixed to negative on, and now he's done Chappie. I've never seen either of the other two. I know enough about them where I'm like, okay, this happened, but I've never actually seen them, so I didn't know much about it. Didn't really know what to expect from him. I don't know his style. Besides, he likes to use the post-apocalyptic world, kind of this gritty, real world kind of feel to him. And despite the fact that I've never watched a Neil Blomkamp movie till today, yeah, it does have that Neil Blomkamp feel. Is all it is for me to say. But yeah, it is gritty. It is dirty. It is kind of they never actually say what the year is. They said that they implemented a police force in 2016. And then in the beginning of the movie, the very brief takes place like 18 months prior to the events of the movie. That's like it's like people being interviewed talking about the events of the whole Chappie thing and stuff like that. That's all that is. So that does not fall into the trope of that. I need to pace myself here because I'm really going to ramble if I and run over my words otherwise. It does not fall into the trope that I hate of showing the end in the beginning and doing it incorrect, like Transcendence did. I hated Transcendence because Transcendence did that. I fucking hated that. John Wick did that, but it didn't bother me with John Wick because I loved John Wick. I really did. I think I ended up giving that a 9. But yeah, it doesn't fall into the trap of showing the ending at the beginning and then giving away the ending. No, because it just says it just basically explains like we're still dealing with the events of the whole Chappie thing and stuff like that. They didn't explain if he died or if he lived or anything like that. They did not. So that I actually appreciated. But no, the story is that Chappie is an artificial intelligence brought into sentient consciousness by his creator, who was played by Patel. It was played by Dev Patel. Patel, if I'm pronouncing his name right. I know I'm pronouncing Patel right, but the Dev, if I'm mispronouncing his name, sorry. And Chappie, who's played by Charlton Copley. Charlton Copley. Forgive me for not. I probably should try to pronounce these beforehand. And he gets brought to life, and he's basically taken in by these gangsters. I want to say they are these wannabe rappers who are played by actual rappers. Ninja, who's played. I didn't actually read this guy's name until just now because I'm reading this. I know because some of the actors. Obviously I know who Hugh Jackman is. I even knew who Dev Patel was. I just didn't know his name. And Sigourney Weaver. I knew who they were. This guy's actual name is Ninja. I know he's a rapper. I know that Yolandi Visser is also a rapper or of some kind. And Jose Pablo Catiano, who played Yankee / America, spelled with a K, not a C. I believe they are all rappers. I just don't know his name was actually Ninja. He's called Ninja. So is he playing himself? In which case, this guy is a douchebag. I'm sorry. This guy. So yeah, he gets taken in by them, and stuff ensues. Hugh Jackman plays a guy who has the fucking giant ass robot from RoboCop that he wants to implement in the police force. But he's really pissed off that Sigourney Weaver, who's the head of the company, won't do that. So he's actually the bad guy, more or less. That's not even the Prejudice that's the bad guy in this. Which oh god, what was the movie that I talked about saying how the Prejudice was actually like it was the I think actually was it. I explained. Oh, that was it. It was How to Train Your Dragon 2. How I explained in How to Train Your Dragon 1, there was no actual villain until like near the end. It was actually the Prejudice that was the bad guy. But in this, there wasn't even the Prejudice that was the bad guy. It was Hugh Jackman. It was. I mean, yeah, these gangsters are not good people per se, though. Yolandi, I just, I didn't actually. It didn't just occur to me until I looked at her name. Her name is Yolandi, Yolandy. Her actual name is Yolandi, YO-LANDI. Really? Really? Oh, man. As you can tell, I've never actually heard of these people up until... I knew they were in the movie. I knew they were rappers in the movie. That was about it. I hadn't heard of these people much until today. So, yeah. He gets taken in there, and Chappie is, Chappie. Chappie is Chappie. Chappie is essentially, they explain, he's a child to start out with. He's learning, he's evolving, but he learns quicker at a quicker rate, which leads to some, I wouldn't call it shark jumping, but it is far-fetched. It is very far-fetched a little bit. But in the realm of the world they've made with Neil Blomkamp and all that stuff, and the kind of tone this world has, it kind of made sense, and I didn't hate it I didn't hate it when it happened. Granted, the end of the movie got me a little weirded out, but I'll get to that. And yeah, there's spoilers in this, so stop right now if you don't want spoilers. Overall, I actually really like the movie, so that's where I'll end right now if you don't want spoilers. So stop the video if you don't want spoilers. Okay, is this stop the video? Okay, we'll continue. So this guy basically invents a program for artificial intelligence to create consciousness, create sentient life. How he managed to do that, because he doesn't even understand how consciousness works, because no one understands how consciousness works. So how he was able to make it is beyond me. Which is hilarious, because they're interviewing him at one point, and because you see him, she's like, "What I want to create is a thinking robot. I'm thinking of you." And is that the company's main goal? And immediately he has this look on his face, like, fuck, I shouldn't have said that. He really has that look on his face. I'm like, yeah, that's not something you should be saying in terms of this, because they're military police force, basically. They're the police. They've replaced the police, and I mean, they haven't fully replaced me. They actually do have, like, humans. It's humans and robots in, like, a collaboration kind of way. So there's that. And, I mean, that's actually cool. We actually, kind of like with Johnny 5 in Short Circuit, we actually see the robot that becomes Chappie before he becomes Chappie. And even then, there is, like, a weird sort of, like, little personality with him. Apparently, this robot keeps getting the crap kicked out of him and eventually takes an RPG round through the chest, and basically his battery is fused to his core, so he can't basically change his battery. So plot is he wants to live when he becomes sentient and finds out, but he can only live for 5 days because that's all the battery and power he has left. So he ends up, being manipulated a little bit, but actually coming to care for these people. He calls Yolandi mommy, and he calls Ninja daddy, and he's a shitty daddy, but there's a weird likability in parts to him, because even he's not completely a jackass. At one point he drops Chappie off just isolated to, like, learn the ways of the world, and then Chappie comes back and got the crap kicked out of him by Hugh Jackman and everything like that. So they literally took off his arm and all that shit. He got set on fire. They replaced his arm and stuff like that. But yeah, even he's just like, holy, I'm sorry, dude. So yeah, and then I'll say the latter part for the end of this review. Right now I'm going to go into most of the actors. Most of the actors are actually, in fact, all the actors sans the rappers. I'll save the rappers for the end of my actors category here. Hugh Jackman. This is different than for Hugh Jackman. It's very, very rare. I know there's one movie called Deception where he basically plays a villain, but it's very, very rare that we see him play a villain. And he's playing Blackbeard in Hook also, so he's the villain in that. So it's interesting to see him branch out that. And he plays a good bad. He's also not a guy who's inherently bad, I think. He's just a jackass who wants to be taken seriously. He basically invented the RoboCop robot, the giant fucking Sinnoh robot, which was affectionately dubbed the Moose. They called it the fucking Moose. And he doesn't like Dave Patel because of he doesn't like these drone robots, as they're called, the drones. And he wants to be taken seriously. He wants to, because he doesn't trust artificial intelligence. He doesn't. He wants humans to be controlled, because that's how he controls the Moose. He's in his cockpit, kind of a neural headpiece cockpit and all that stuff. And he's controlling it and shit like that. But he doesn't seem inherently like a bad guy per se. He's just a military guy. He was a soldier, and he wants real people in combat. But he's also he's pretty much a jackass too. I mean, he's killing people. I mean, they're gangsters. They're horrible people, but still, he fucking rips it. He crushes a guy's torso and rips him in half and tosses his upper body away. And the minute I saw him, like, this movie just took a fucking turn. What the fuck? I mean, this movie was pretty realistically brutal for a sense, but then it just went, what the fuck? I'm like, fuck me. And then he gets his ass kicked by Chappie. Chappie comes in and kicks his fucking ass. It just comes into the office. Jackman's just like, no shoving. Boom. Cracks his arm, like, out of socket. He gets hit in the leg with a wrench really fucking hard, like he's limping. He gets thrown through cubicles, thrown into the wall, but then he still survives at the end, because Chappie was not going to kill him. It's like, no, you will learn lesson. No, Chappie, forgive you. Dave Patel's fine. He seems a little too naive at points, but I think that's just because he's this nerd guy. He's this tech guy. And he's created Chappie, and he wasn't aware of what he was going to create, and it overwhelms him a little bit. And he fails to tell Chappie that he'll end up dying in 5 days, and Chappie even confronts him. I was like, why did you create me if I'm going to die in 5 days? And it's like, I didn't create you to die. Obviously, he was going to say I created you to live, but he didn't finish his statement. Yeah, he's good. I do like him as an actor. I think he's actually a very talented actor. Sigourney Weaver, thank God Sigourney Weaver at least had more to do in this than she did Exodus. She actually had scenes. She had more than 2 scenes. Actually, I think she only had one, if I remember correctly, she only had one scene of actual dialogue in Exodus. She had at least 3 or 4 scenes of dialogue in this movie. So right there, far better uses of Sigourney Weaver. And, yeah, so, okay, I'll save Chappie for the very end. I'll get to the rest. Now, I'm not necessarily one who's a fan of putting rappers or wrestlers in acting in movies unless they actually have tried. Like Dave Bautista, for instance, has even come out and said that he's not a good actor, but he's still an actor. He still tries in his movies. He has a limited set of skills. He knows this. He's grateful for what he does, and he does his best. The Rock has become actually a serviceable actor. That's because he's practiced. He's trained. I even like Hulk Hogan as an actor, for God's sake. He's a crappy actor, but he's the Hulkster. I can handle this, brother. I like Hulk Hogan. I can't help it. I think Suburban Commando is hilarious. The Nanny or something. What was it? The one where he's basically being the nanny. I can't remember. Him showing up as Thunder Lips, the ultimate man versus the ultimate meatball. I love that, man. So yeah, Hulk Hogan, yeah. Rappers, it can happen too. Snoop Dogg, maybe not the greatest actor in the world, but he's okay for the roles he gets put in. Nothing terrible. Ice Cube can work. He's definitely good in comedies. I do like Ice Cube comedies, particularly 22 Jump Street. It's like, I know what you're thinking. Stereotype black man, a black angry cop. Back in Canada, well, guess what? Yeah, I'm black. And sometimes I get angry. And if you don't like it, you can suck a dick. And we love you, Ice Cube. We do. So it can work. It didn't work that well in this movie. Not terrible. Actually, I think Yolandi was actually the better of the two actors. And we'll call them actors for this. Of the two of them, Ninja and Yolandi. Yolandi, I think, was actually the better of the two. She actually, because she wasn't really a bad... I mean, she was part of a gang. She went on doing a robbery. But she actually cared for Chappie, and she's the one who's like, you call me mommy. She's like, he called me mommy. Oh, and she treated him like he was her son. And their relationship was actually really sweet in my mind, because the heart of this movie is Chappie. And for the record, Ninja was not that good. He had a few moments, but overall he was not good. Anyway, but Chappie is the heart of this movie. Chappie is so endearing, so actually so likable, so almost lovable, honestly, because he is a child. But he's an innocent. He's brought into this world, and it wasn't his choice to be brought in, and now he's trying to learn about the world. He's curious. He wants to live his life. He wants to be with his family that he's made now. And all this shit has come after him. Hugh Jackman wants the chip in his head, so he fucking kidnaps him. But while he's there's just a nice scene with Chappie just trying to get by because he got stranded in the city, and he's at this dump, and this dog comes up just trying to look for food, and it sees him, and Chappie you see it too, where he just pets the dog just really gently, and you're like, that's one of the most quiet moments where it just lets the movie breathe, and you're feeling for this character Chappie. He's alone. He's scared. And it kind of tugs at you. I'm like, I really care about this guy. I don't know if he's actually going to make it out of this alive or not until a certain amount of the way. And I'm like, now I know how he survived. And there's another scene where Chappie, they're reading a book in bed, and you see in the trailer too, where she's saying, like, you know what, a black sheep, it's really different but special in here. So when people die, they go to other place. I assume that's how her actual accent. I'm pretty sure she has an accent, given her name, Yolandi. I'm pretty sure she has an accent of some kind. I don't know if she's Russian or something. I think she's Russian, actually. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But she's reading that, and then she continues to read the book, but then her voice starts to just mute out while Chappie's thinking on the subject of what it means to have a soul and stuff like that, and just really, deep stuff in there, and, what it means to be alive, what it means to have consciousness, and can we transcend that? And it's real good stuff. It is. The whole message of this is done far better in this than it was in something like Transcendence, where the whole concept of artificial intelligence, can you transfer consciousness over to something? It does delve into it far... It's far better handled in this than it was in Transcendence. Transcendence had a good idea and did not go through with it 100%. It did not transcend the level of, say, maybe a 5.10, as I think I redubbed it. It does talk about it. It does go over some heavy issues like life and what it means to have a soul and stuff like that. And can we go beyond just what we're given? Are we just destined to be this, or can we go beyond? Are we destined to have a limitation? It's really, see, I'm struggling to really grasp its full concept, because it does have a lot of meaning to it. It does have a good grasp of of a topic, and there's lots of different avenues you could go in discussing this topic. And I think it's going to be definitely will leave some people talking about it. I do think people will be talking about this movie. I do think this movie will probably do fairly decent at the box office. I was here watching Movie Talk the other day, ABC Movie Talk, and they were talking about if Chappie could make $30 million or above this opening weekend. Or I think out of the three of them, one of them went 30 or above, and the other two were just under 30. I had to guess right now. I'm going to say it will also just make under 30. It probably will make somewhere between 25 million to 30. I'd be pleasantly surprised to see if it does better than 30 million, because I think it deserves 30 million. I honestly like this movie a lot. But now the ending, the last third of the movie, that's when shit hits that's when shit goes whack. You know what? I'm even gonna borrow a little of the gangster slang. That's when shit goes whack, yo. So Chappie doesn't want to die, and he discovers that the way to try to save him is to try to input his consciousness basically onto a flash drive. Well, actually, onto a computer and on a flash drive. And he steals basically a helmet from, basically it's the helmet that Hugh Jackman uses to control his giant fuck off RoboCop robot. And he used it to basically try to implement his consciousness. And he succeeds. We see him doing it. I'm like, okay, immediately. We know how he's going to survive. And then Hugh Jackman comes in and says, fuck you. No, I'm killing you all. And he starts proceeding to kill them all. But then Chappie's just like, I'm going to fucking, I'm going to fucking stop you. And nearly does, but then, something happens. Ninja gets shot in the leg through the thigh, which how he's actually survived not bleeding out, I'm debating that. There's some weird shots in this movie, particularly this final third where it kind of got a little hectic. There was a few weird shots, like a few close-ups of both him and Yolandi, and I'm like, that's weird. That's kind of weird. And then that doesn't make any sense. He gets shot through the thigh. They show he gets shot through the thigh. Now, if he got shot in, like, maybe the calf, I could see him surviving that. Not bleeding out very much. Or, surviving and not having bled to death. Getting shot through the thigh, on the other hand, you got some major arteries through your thigh. How he lived through that, I'm not quite sure. Because we saw it was a clear through-and-through shot. And these are high artillery rounds that he's fucking using, Hugh Jackman. His fucking robot's equipped with fucking cluster bombs, missiles, anti-fucking aircraft equipment. Jesus Christ, he's trying to just murder these people. So him and Dave Patel ends up getting shot and is dying. So Chappie's like, no, I will save you and upload your consciousness. I'm like, wait, what? They showed how Chappie managed to do this about learning how to upload consciousness. Is that because he has access to the internet and because he's a computer, he downloaded everything on the internet about consciousness and the human mind and everything like that to transfer his consciousness so he can save himself. And he learned how to transfer consciousness. There's no other way to put it. He learned how to put your mind into whatever body he wants to put it in. He perfected immortality. He even says that. He's like, when he transfers someone over, and I'll get to that in a second, but when he transfers someone over, he says, you'll live forever now. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's the Matrix almost. The robots will turn us. But except they're not robots. They're people turned into robots. And what the... So, like, that's like... It's nice that guy survives, but... There's some issues raised by that. So, yeah, and then... Yolandi ends up saving Ninja. Ninja lives, actually. He ends up surviving this. And he ends up walking. How long this took place afterwards, near the end, where he's walking fine, I don't understand, because... Whatever. Continuity, I'm not going to... It's continuity. And one of my jobs on the film for the movie, Silenced, by the way, is the name of the movie, is I'm continuity supervisor. That's a continuity error. How much time passed that he healed? And can walk completely fine. And didn't bleed out. I'm sorry, that bothers me. He should have bled out, in all honesty. But whatever. If Hugh Jackman can survive the beating... it's a lot more likely Hugh Jackman survived the beating he got from Chappie than this guy surviving a fucking shot through the artery. Unless it just missed his femoral artery, I guess. Which, maybe? I guess. Anyway, so Lana ends up getting shot and killed. And Chappie's very sad about this, and he just blames humans and stuff like that. But then Dave's like, I know who did it. He goes, gets Hugh Jackman, and then he puts him in the chair, and there's only one robot biolock. Chappie's like, no, you gotta use it. And I was like, I'm gonna save you, make her friend, and stuff like that. And he transfers him over to the robot, and he's like, holy crap. And for a brief minute, because they're trying to figure out how they're going to do it, do you think Chappie is actually going to die? We don't know how Chappie's going to make it out of this. And for a moment, I'm like, wow, he made he's okay with dying too. It's just like, because he picked up this tick from, America. The guy gets ripped in fucking half. Jesus Christ. Who's actually not anywhere near as bad as Ninja, but still doing some bad stuff. He's actually not as horrible of an individual as Ninja is. But he's still not the greatest. He's doing that little tick and he's like, no problem. And he's just like, he's okay with, wow. And then they find out, it's like, wait, we can just use this. He used this to shut down the robots, so we'll just use that to transfer you to one of the other robots. Oh, okay, we'll do that. okay. Nah. It actually would have made sense, and it actually would have been, I think, a better ending in a way if Chappie had actually made the sacrifice, and now it was Dave Patel who was the artificial intelligence, who was the guy who was carrying on the legacy and stuff like that. But no, it's fine, and it doesn't hurt the ending. It doesn't, because it's actually nice. I think Chappie does live. I do like the fact Chappie lives. I liked Chappie was the best character of the movie. He really was. He was the heart and soul of the movie. And then they go off and then, okay, now see, this isn't bad up until the very end of the movie. We see Ninja, tossing stuff, like memories away, and then we see a flash drive with the words "Mommy's consciousness." Now, this harkens back to a scene where Chappie's showing her how the thing works and mapping their consciousness, and he maps her consciousness, we find out. I actually didn't see that part coming until we see the flash. I'm like, but when they showed us back, I'm like, that's what he did. That makes sense of why he did that. And they see that, and we see them bearing away. It's like, don't worry, Mommy, we'll give you nobody. But then we cut to him basically in the slums of District 9, because I do remember the District 9 took place in slums. So the slums of District 9. And he's basically uploading Mommy's consciousness, and building her body back at the plant because they've shut down production. But then he starts things up. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Then we see it's blue. And something like iRobot, the humanoid faces worked. And something like this, the porcelain humanoid face that looks oddly like Yolandi's face, is creepy looking. That was creepy looking. And that's how the movie ends. She gets her new body, she wakes up in the body, and that's how that ends. And that's fine that she lives in the immortality of it all. But that was creepy. She looked creepy. She looked very much almost like out of a horror movie. Honestly, it's like just I could see her being in part of a. Fuck it. I watched Face Off recently, just yesterday. If you watch Face Off, it's on Sci-Fi. Basically, it's costume designers and creature makeup artists and stuff like that competing for a prize and stuff like that. They do competitions, make creatures and stuff like that. One of the creatures looks suspiciously like her, and it was a horror movie based creature. It looked surprisingly like her. So, that was Don't worry, I wasn't as creeped out as I'm actually making it, but that was a creepy image. It was like, why are you going to just make yourself more bodies now to make yourself more human? Eventually you're just going to look like humans, but you're robots. Okay. Are you eventually going to learn how to transfer yourself to another person's body? You're going to artificially grow bodies in a lab, and then because I see that being the next step eventually, is where Chappie and Pita and Yolandi and then Ninja, who will eventually be uploaded into a fucking robot. It's going to be in the future where they're growing artificial humans, except with little plugs in their back. So they'll plug themselves into their artificial bodies and then be human. Because let's be honest, you can't eat, you can't fuck, you can't do anything in these robot bodies. So good luck enjoying all the fruits of life. But overall, I actually did like this movie. I like this movie a lot. I had some issues. I have issues with just about every movie. I don't think no movie is completely perfect. I didn't even think something like Guardians of the Galaxy or John Wick was perfect, or Godzilla, or Captain America 2, or Avengers, or anything like that. I rarely ever. I mean, even in movies I give 10 out of 10, I don't think they're necessarily perfect. It's just partly how I think the movie's made, and partly my enjoyment of the movie. Like Birdman was about as close to perfect as I think a movie could have been in my mind. Just my opinion. I rarely ever think a movie's perfect. But I think I give this a solid 8 out of 10. Very good. A very good movie. Very solid movie. Makes you think. Character is likable. I can tolerate the Ninja and Yolandi Visor character. So I can tolerate them. I actually liked Yolandi a lot more than I liked Ninja. Effects are good. The effects are, by the way, are good. Yeah, I believe Chappie said. Well, effects are good almost for the most part. There's one scene with the RoboCop Moose robot and I can't remember the name of the robot from the actual movie, but the RoboCop, but the Moose, where I could see the CGI kind of crapped out just a little bit and then kicked back in, where I'm like, okay, it's there. Oh, what the fuck? Anyway, no, the CGI is good. Effects are good. Story is well made. It's a well-made movie. It's well shot. A couple edits are a little weird. Like there was a couple scenes where, like they cut the Hugh Jackman point saying one line as he drove away. That was it. Another point where we see Dave Patel just go out to the car and get something, whereas you could have just shown him leave, have a moment with Chappie saying something humorous, cute, and then have him come back with a rubber chicken that squeaks. You could have done that. Whatever. That's why I give this an 8. There's some minor things I'm just like, but whatever. So trailers. I got technically 3 new trailers. I only got 2 trailers that I actually haven't seen before. I got the Age of Ultron, the new one I just talked about trailer yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I've seen that on fucking your screen. And so yeah. But first one I got was the Entourage movie trailer. I never watched Entourage. Just by that trailer alone, I don't really want to watch Entourage, but I'll watch the movie. The movie looks funny. It's got the cast from Entourage. I assume it's the cast from Entourage. It's got some good jokes and stuff like that. It's a great joke. I almost think it was Ronda Rousey who was in there. And she's just like, if I last 30 seconds will you go at me, then I'll let you. If you last 60 seconds, I'll fuck you or something like that. They cut it out, but I'm assuming that's what she's saying. And then she just charges at him. It's like, how many seconds? About 3. Poof. Ooh, it's like, fine. She was attractive looking. I'll take a go for 30 seconds. I could probably last 30 seconds. 30 seconds. God knows if I'll last 60 seconds, but I'll give it a shot for 30 seconds. Yeah, just dance around the fucking ring for a little bit. Anyway. Other one I got was Aloha, the Bradley Cooper, Emma Stone, Alec Baldwin, fucking Bill Murray, John Krasinski, Rachel McBride movie. Bradley Cooper plays an Air Force pilot, or he's an airman, training a new recruit, Emma Stone, and he goes back to Hawaii, and his ex is there. She's with John Krasinski, and it's a standard romantic comedy rom-com plot I've seen before, and I'm not overly a big fan of rom-coms. I'm not. But I'd probably end up seeing that just for the cast alone. Seriously, Bradley Cooper, great actor. Emma Stone, great actress. Rachel McBride, good, very solid actress. Alec Baldwin, good actor. I'll watch basically anything with Bill Murray in it. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the rom-coms, but yeah, I'd watch it, sure. And another only technically new trailer I got was another trailer for Insurgent from the Divergent series. Like, we forgot it was from that. Because we probably did, because Divergent probably made money, but I don't care about this franchise. I don't care about these movies. I don't. I actually might not even end up seeing this one. I may end up seeing something else that week, because I just don't care about this movie. And I didn't see that first Divergent, and my review for Hunger Games kind of suffered from Mockingjay. Kind of suffered because I didn't see Catching Fire. I did see the first one, so it did help. But I know it suffered from that. I'm not going to actually probably end up seeing Insurgent, unless there really is nothing else playing, which I will do my best to see if there's something else playing that week. I'll actually check that after I'm done with this. But, so, yeah. That's it for all the trailers I got. That, by the way, Insurgent does not look very good in my mind. But, well, no, so that's all the trailers I got for this. So again, movie overall, I like Chappie a lot. I think it was a good movie. I recommend it. I recommend anyone who wants to see it, go see it. If you like Neil Blomkamp, you'll probably like this. If you like District 9, you'll probably like this. If you didn't like Elysium, you might like this better. And if you did like Elysium, you might like this. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Next week is... I'm kind of torn on what I'm seeing next week. Because next week is Cinderella and Run All Night, the Liam Neeson movie that you might have been seeing the trailers for recently. Now, Cinderella may be the more interesting review, but Run All Night's the one I'd really rather see. So maybe I'll end up catching 2 movies next week. It'll depend on what my funds are next week. So... we will see. But I will have Movie Zoos up tomorrow because I'll be working on the movie on Saturday, so I won't be able to get it up on Saturday. So, yeah, I'll have Movie Zoos up tomorrow. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you for the next one. Good night.